One more to climb to the top of the mountain.
Starting lineups today for North Carolina Central. They've had the same lineup in each of their first three ball games. Caldwell, Maltsby, Miller, Butler, and Monroe. They've got so many newcomers to this team. 9 transfers and a freshman for Lavelle Moton. For Iowa, it's Toussaint, Bohannon, McCaffrey, Keegan Murray, and Phillip. First couple of games, Iowa's been really good at holding on to that basketball. Ready to tip things off here from Iowa City. The tip is won by the Eagles of North Carolina Central. Trying to get their first win of the season. Lost last time against Memphis. Got blown out 90-51 and committed 26 turnovers. Here goes Miller to the rack, and Randy Miller with a nice layup.
Great dribble penetration. The major key for NC Central is, like you said, Jeff, they can't turn the ball over if they want to pull the upset.
Patrick McCaffrey, Toussaint feeds down low and a whistle. They'll get Cameron Butler trying to get positioned down low on Phillip Rebraca. Rebraca, the transfer from North Dakota. Stretched the floor a little bit, but replacing a guy like Luka Garza down low, almost impossible to do. There's Bohannon, bombs away, and almost on his first shot tied the record. Another chance for Bohannon. Got it away. He's not tied for the all-time three-point mark in Big Ten history.
Well, that's too open for Jordan Bohannon. When he comes on the court, no matter where he is, he feels like he can knock it down. The Eagles have to find the leading three-point shooter, and they got to find him early.
Miller tried to match it, couldn't. And Toussaint fouled. It didn't take long for Bohannon. Knew that he was going to get out there and try and get it out of the way. Got 2 shots at it in the first possession on offense for Iowa.
What's been remarkable about Jordan Bohannon over the years is not only does he hit a lot of them, but he hits them when they matter the most. He's an excellent late-game three-point shooter. He's won a ton of games by himself late for this Iowa basketball program over the last 6 years, believe it or not, Jeff.
He has seen 3 different presidential stints. He's been at Iowa that long. And it was a no-brainer for him to come back for his 6th season. He's dealt with a bunch of injury problems over the course of his career. The hip injury a couple of seasons ago. Felt like he had some unfinished business. Toussaint fading away.
Joe Toussaint's been working hard over the summer on that mid-range game. He's starting this year, quarterbacking the team, and if he can hit that shot consistently, just opens up for everybody else.
Open look from 3 from Eric Boone off the mark. Here's transition for Iowa. Keegan Murray, wide open lane.
And how many players in the country can take the ball coast to coast from that forward position like Keegan Murray? He just rips and runs, and so smooth around the rim.
Great season as a freshman. Inside look, a foul and a chance for a three-point play. Good drive by Cameron Butler. NC Central hanging tough with Iowa in this first segment of the ball game. Fran McCaffrey, 12th season in Iowa City. 20 wins, 3 straight seasons, and 7 of his 11 with the Hawkeyes.
He's done a sensational job, brought fast-paced, high-octane basketball back to Carver Hawkeye Arena. Just a lot of guys who can fill it up, and this is a special night for him. I mean, Jordan Bohannon, under-recruited. Fran McCaffrey took a gamble on him, and no one will be happier to see that record go down than Coach McCaffrey.
Toussaint dials up a 3 and off the heel. NC Central mentioned just the roster turnover. These 2 teams met last year. Iowa won at 97-67. You can't really go back and look at it because the whole team is different. Good drive to the hoop by Marquis Maltsby.
They put down a couple keys for Iowa in this game. They want to push the pace, speed up the Eagles, but number 2, they want to stop dribble penetration. So far, they've not been able to get that done as NC Central gets 4 points in the paint early in this game.
McCaffrey for 3. And an air ball. First shot of the game for Patrick McCaffrey. A lot of dribble in there by Eric Boone. To the rack. And a lead for NC Central. That's Maltsby. Up ahead, Keegan Murray. Lead back to the Hawkeyes.
Well, again, another layup for NC Central, so I was going to have to either guard their yard or start switching better to stay in front of the ball. But if you're the Eagles, they typically send 3 or 4 people to the offensive rim, and they did not get back. So you get an easy one at one end, but you give it away right away at the other.
A foul on Rebraca on the drive that time by Boone. Lavelle Moten in his 13th season at NC Central. Taking his team to the tournament 4 different times, including 3 straight seasons from 2016 through 2019, where they were in that first 4 game. It's so hard being a mid-major and competing at that level, and to get to the tournament with the way the transfers are as a mid-major, it's near impossible. So what he's been able to do at this program, remarkable.
Yeah, tremendous success. Plays the right way. Guys love to play for him. And I asked him today, do you come into a game like this, these money games where you're a big underdog, do you play the way you want to play, or do you play to keep it close and win? And he said we definitely want to play differently, want to keep it close and try to play this game to win. So we'll keep our eye on the pace. He's going to try to walk this game, slow it down a little bit.
Keegan Murray asserting his will down in the low post. Murray off to a good start. He's got 6. Bohannon has already tied the 3-point record in Big Ten history. 1 more, and he's got it all by himself. Inside look and a foul. That's Connor McCaffrey. And he get called on the personal foul on Cameron Butler. Will step aside in Iowa City. Jordan Bohannon is tied with John Diebler for the most threes in big history, Jess.
I played against Lewis Bullock. He could flat out shoot it, and Shep Garner never saw a shot he didn't like. I mean, he used to put him up, but Jordan Bohannon, just an elite shooter, been shooting that shot since the 8th grade, and for him to come to this level and be in this position, I don't think anybody, including Jordan Bohannon, saw this coming.
You see this out of bounds play from North Carolina Central. Just threw it off the back of Keegan Murray. Did Eric Boone, and an opportunity to get a couple of free throws for Boone. Check this play out, Jess.
This is the old Scottie Pippen. Off the back, get the cheap one, and that's a high IQ play there, Jeff.
Boone from Lexington, Kentucky, transfer from Georgia Southern. 13 points and 5 boards in the loss against Memphis last time out. NC Central getting some easy trips to the lane and scoring some buckets here against this Iowa defense. That's too easy for Keegan Murray.
Well, young players, you want to cut with integrity when you don't have the basketball. The majority of the game, the ball is not in your hand. You cut, show your hands, your teammate will find you, and that's just Keegan Murray moving well without the ball.
Miller, the good move against Bohannon, everything but the bottom for the shot. Out of bounds, it'll go to Iowa, and we'll go back to this drive.
You never stand around. Defense turns its head, cut back door, and Keegan Murray, doesn't he have some nice bounce? Just so athletic and smooth.
Just a sophomore out of Cedar Rapids. Twin brother Chris on the roster. Having some good playing time early on in the season. Not available today for Fran McCaffrey, dealing with an illness over the weekend. McCaffrey fades away, and a whistle. Well, Thursday, the Hawkeyes are back on the floor here in Iowa City to face Alabama State. The Northwestern clashes with FDU. Don't miss a Hoops doubleheader Thursday on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. McCaffrey at the line to shoot a couple. Patrick in his sophomore season.
Well, he has to have a big year. He's shown very explosive nature early in this season. He's feeling healthier. That ankle's healing up. He's got the ability to knock down the 3-point shot, but he's got to come out and be consistent at both ends of the court. And with the lack of size this Iowa team has on the post, he's going to have to be good defensively on the fives as well once in a while and help out.
Double figures in both of his games played so far. Patrick McCaffrey. Good pressure from Iowa. Out of control there on the drive, and able to finish Cameron Butler.
A little bit out of control, but still getting a little too deep, and good job by the Eagles cleaning up the mess.
Connor McCaffrey now. Swiss Army knife for the Hawkeyes into Patrick's hands, and he's fouled. Butler went in and grabbed him. This has been too easy for NC Central being able to get into the teeth of this defense.
And you'll notice how everyone collapses on the offensive board whenever they take a shot. But when you get that deep, that defense falls apart. Somebody slips in and gets a shot. So that's a big story right now and early in this game. Iowa's inability to keep the Eagles out of the paint.
It's one thing Memphis made NC Central do last time. I was made them make threes, and they didn't do it. 3 for 25 against Memphis in the loss last time out for NC Central. Shot just 26%, but these layups and these drives are pretty simple for the Eagles in the early going. McCaffrey knocked them both down. He's got 4 points. Maltzby again, easy transition layup, but didn't finish it. Murray on the break to Patrick McCaffrey, rolled in and out. Moving again, the Eagles, and a block by Keegan Murray. Toussaint, and out of bounds was McCaffrey. The lob from Toussaint, a little too tall for Patrick.
And that's one of those situations where tempo trumps execution. I mean, Joe Toussaint wants to push the ball. He wants to play with pace and speed, but you have to make a wise decision at the end of that, and he's going to continue to get better at that. The wise decision on that one is to pull it out, Jeff. Slow it down. If you don't have that guaranteed lob, set up your offense to get a higher percentage shot.
On the other end, Murray almost came up with a steal. Stays with NC Central. Toussaint, who has the lightning speed.
Yeah,
he's as fast as anybody that's out there in the league, in the country. It's tough to turn that motor down sometimes.
Very physical defender. Likes to push the basketball, developing that mid-range jumper, but it's just those split-second decisions in Big Ten play that you got to make.
Inside look, Dontavius King. Back to a one-point game. Aaron Eulis on the floor for the first time with the freshman Peyton Sanford. Here's a three, and too strong. Another drive and up and good. NC Central regains the lead.
And I have them down with 14 points in the paint. And at the next time out, Fran McCaffrey's going to have to make a few switches or get into somebody, because that just can't happen. It's way too deep. And those are easy baskets.
See the concern on Fran McCaffrey's face. The last media timeout, he was not too pleased with his Hawkeyes as they were huddled up.
Just a very young team, a very inexperienced team. He said he's never had a team where every single guy in a uniform had to play a new role this year. They lost so much firepower last year. Luka and Joe and CJ. And it's just a lot of learning that has to happen in this first couple weeks to prepare for these bigger games that are coming up.
And a guy that people aren't talking about enough that transferred out of the program, Jack Nunge, who's now at Xavier. He was a big loss, too, for the Hawkeyes.
Huge loss. I mean, would have played 30 minutes, would have taken over for Luka Garza. And still puzzling to me why those two guys would leave such a great opportunity here at Iowa.
Forced error there for the Eagles. Keegan Murray backing down, nearly lost it. Triple team and blocked away on the weak side. It was King with the block. And now the three. An offensive rebound. Boy, the Eagles are flying around here.
Wasn't sure they could get away with that. Thought it would be wiser for them to send everybody back on defense, but they're still crashing the boards, and so far, they're getting away with it.
Bohannon is going to go to the line, and Keegan Murray, he's going to see this a lot come Big Ten play, isn't he, Jess?
Great point, Jeff. That's what the defenses are going to do. They're going to swarm around him. He's going to have to kick that one out. There's Jordan Bohannon on the wing. He's going to kick that back out for a wide-open three and a high-percentage shot.
That's one thing that we can talk about over the course of this ball game, too. When Keegan Murray starts to feel that pressure, it puts a lot of the impetus on knocking these threes down. And with the guys that the team lost, with Wieskamp and Frederick and even Garza from the outside, too, these are some young kids that are going to have to knock down some threes.
It's one thing to hit them in practice. It's another when the lights come on. And they're capable of hitting those threes, but you got to hit them in these big games. And I think Keegan Murray's going to face a lot of box and ones this year. They're going to have to put him along the baseline. They're going to have to post him up. But when he kicks it out, his other teammates are going to have to make those defenses pay.
Murray gets a little bonus break here. The media timeout coming up at the under 12. Josh Ogundele checks in. Bohannon checks out. So on the floor, Ulis, Perkins, Sanford, Ogundele, and Connor McCaffrey. And an easy drive again, but no bucket. Ulis had it stripped away, and that will take us to a timeout. Iowa with a 1-point lead on the Screaming Eagles of NC Central.
Defensively, have to guard your yard, stay in front of the ball, at least make NC Central kick it out and try to knock in some threes. They're 0 for 3, but when they get that deep, that defense collapses and everything's falling apart early.
3 for 25 in their loss against Memphis, too. Came in shooting just 23% from beyond the arc. Trying to get it into the paint. Shot clock at 9. Connor McCaffrey fires away from 3, short. A long rebound out to the Eagles. King with a drive, fouled. Well, tomorrow wrestling is back on the Big Ten Network as the Huskers square off with North Carolina. And Saturday night in prime time. Don't miss Minnesota locking it up with Oklahoma State. Big Ten Wrestling presented by Cliff Keen Athletic. This week on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. A whistle down low, and Ogundele picks up the foul. One more, and NC Central going to be in the bonus here.
It's been interesting talking to coaches and players during this first week of play, and with all of the transfers and everybody coming and going, it's been very difficult to scout and prepare for your opponents. And there's no looking back at last year because half of the guys aren't there. The tape's tough to study. You can't really pick up a guy's tendencies over a couple games, so you have to stick to your defensive principles. And right now, Iowa just a little confused defensively, but it's not like they've had an opportunity to watch a lot of tape on NC Central.
Perkins going to go to the line as Jadarius Harris picks up the foul. Free throws for Iowa the rest of the way, too. Perkins, one of those guys, as we've talked about, that needs to start hitting some shots from the outside. Yeah. A sophomore from Indianapolis, and certainly capable of it.
Both Perkins and Ulis, great defensive players, getting an opportunity to shine this year, but each of them only took 3 threes last year. And you talk about Keegan Murray getting double and triple team. They're two of the guys who have to step up and knock in those shots this year if I was going to go where they want to go.
Been a while since the last bucket went in for Iowa. Over 4 minutes now. Boone, another drive and another layup for NC Central. They're just taking it to the Hawkeyes right now and getting what they want in the paint. McCaffrey left alone for 3. Patrick McCaffrey knocks it down. Gotta feel good for the youngster.
Yeah, does feel good. I mean, that's the shot that he has to knock in. He's been playing above the rim. Shot been struggling just a little bit, but that one found nothing but the bottom.
Miller driving on Sanford. High off the window, no. Into the hands of Sanford. Now McCaffrey on the wing, the drive, the layup good. Defense leads to offense for Iowa. Going on a mini run here. Patrick McCaffrey with 5 unanswered for the Hawkeyes. Murray's in good shape. He's got 1. He played 9 minutes in this one. And Jordan Bohannon back in the contest for Iowa. He's 1 3-pointer away from having the all-time threes record all by himself, and an unforced error there. A bad pass by NC Central.
It's always amazing what that 3-quarter court press can do. It's not an intense pressure, but it just makes guards sometimes lose their minds, and they just threw the ball to the opposing coach, and that's a win for Iowa in that chess match.
This is second turnover for NC Central. It's something that they've really struggled with from the outset. Knocking it down, Tony Perkins. We talked about it just a moment ago, Jess.
Right on cue. I mean, he's wide open. He has to take that shot. More importantly, he has to make that shot.
Patrick McCaffrey knocking that little 4-minute stretch without a bucket right through the waistline. Another turnover for the Eagles.
Yeah, Perkins known for his stellar defense, but when you get that open, you have to knock it in, and then he comes down to the other end and creates another turnover. And you pointed out NC Central's turnover struggles. They haven't been turning the ball over, but they've turned it over 2 out of the last 3, and Iowa extends that lead.
47 turnovers in the first 2 games for NC Central against Richmond and Memphis. Ulis from the free throw line had it blocked. Murray with the rebound. Largest lead of the game for the Hawkeyes. Another drive to the rack. Out of bounds off of the Eagles. Yeah, they are getting whatever they want in terms of driving tonight. Bohannon for 3. Offensive rebound. Keegan Murray right back up with
it. Keegan Murray, I mean, he's shown us everything in this game. He's guarded the opposing team's point guard. He's rebounded. He's played point guard himself. He gets the easy putback. There's just nothing on the court that this guy can do at this age, and he's going to be a special pro player, Jeff. I really believe that. He's got a bright future at the NBA level.
Got a chance to have a double-double here in this first half. 10 points, 6 rebounds, an offensive foul, another turnover by NC Central. 10 minutes, 10 points, 6 boards for Keegan Murray. A 10-0 run right now for Iowa after NC Central had tied things up. 4 turnovers for NC Central.
Tell you what, is Jordan Bohannon going to get this record, or is he going to keep stringing this thing out?
He's got a little throw for the dramatic.
He's posting up.
Posted up on Randy Miller Jr.
Breaking news, Jordan Bohannon with his first career post-up. Look at the seal, the step in, the little hook.
Little baby chicken wing with that right arm.
Nothing wrong with chicken wing. That's what he used to do to his brothers out in the backyard over Thanksgiving.
You don't have the size advantage in your backyard. You got to find every way you can to score buckets. Whole family in attendance here tonight. Bohannon crew, Dad Gordy, brothers, all 3 of them, Jason, Zach, and Matt. All college basketball players in their own right. A couple at Wisconsin, Northern Iowa. All hoping to see Jordan break the record and stand all by himself. Career 3s. He's already got the school record, now trying to be the Big Ten's all-time record leader in 3-pointers made. And a bad screen that time. McCaffrey ran right into the offensive player, and Another turnover, the 5th for NC81, and a very impressionable Jess Settles.
Yeah, I was at a few games that season, ended up going to the Rose Bowl that year with my mom and dad, and it was just a team that impacted the state in so many ways. Hayden Fry came in, the program wasn't used to winning, and led by Gordy, they turned it all around, and the Bohannon family, they're a Hawkeye royalty for sure. He's got to be so proud to see his boys do so well, and to see this record be broken tonight. It's, that's the way it goes sometimes.
For a game that was tied 23-23, Iowa has really taken charge here, and it's been the turnover bugaboo for NC Central that's kind of reared its head and allowed Iowa to build up this 13-point lead.
Right, and that's what we talked about off the top. They just can't turn the ball over. You got to come into this game, have 10 or less in the game, and they've been turning it over at an alarming rate to start the season, but they're still trying to mesh. They're trying to get practices together with a healthy team, but it's been Iowa's defense that's picked up, but the turnovers has just led to a few runouts and easy baskets, and it's gone from a competitive game to now Iowa in complete control.
13-0 run coming up on 3 minutes. McCaffrey couldn't handle that pass from Ulis. And another bad screen from NC Central. They get Caldwell there. It's the 6th turnover, and that's about the 4th bad screen that we've seen from the Eagles.
Yeah, that's the point of emphasis. You can't hip check a guy into the stands on the dribble handoff, so that's an easy call.
Lavelle Moten telling us before the game, it's been so hard coaching this team. Injuries have played a big part of it, but just trying to get to know his players. 9 new players on this roster from last year's team. Lost 11 guys overall. 9 transfers and a freshman coming in for the Eagles. Drive that's been so successful all night. Tie up here between Chris Monroe, the former Providence Friar. And possession will go to the Hawkeyes. Tough to build a team when you don't have a lot of practice time, and with COVID stuff that happened last year, guys that had to shut down teams. You didn't have that practice time on the floor. Tough to simulate team cohesiveness from a Zoom room. Bohannon, nice backdoor pass to McCaffrey.
Assist Bohannon.
Well, that's the second time tonight we've seen a great backdoor cut, moving without the basketball, and the teammate finding the open cutter. So Keegan Murray did it early in the game. This time Patrick did it. That's what you have to do. When you don't have the ball, the defense is overplaying, cut backdoor, somebody will find you.
Out of bounds off of Keegan Murray. Backdoor pass, Bohannon to the younger McCaffrey.
A clinic in cutting to the basket backdoor by the forwards for Iowa. They're not standing around watching Jordan Bohannon dribble. They see the defense turn ahead, and just a split second later, he gets the basketball and knocks it in.
School's all-time leader in assists as Marquis Maltzby knocks down the 3. First one of the night for the Eagles. Snaps the scoring run at 15-0. Keegan Murray for 3. And a run out for NC Central. Miller with a layup. And a whistle on the drive as McCaffrey was fouled before the pass. Double bonus for Iowa. Maltzby picks up his 2nd personal. Paul, Big Ten all morning. Saturday, Annie Sabo and Brock Vereen are live from Wrigley Field to set the scene for the Boilermakers and the Wildcats, while Dave, Joshua, Jerry, and Howard preview every conference matchup. Big Ten tailgate presented by TIAA, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network.
I think you might be roaming around Wrigley Field that day.
I will be. Can't wait to tell all my Wrigley Field stories. That's going to be a lot of fun. I have this on good authority that both teams will not be going in the same direction this time. Last time they played a game at Wrigley, both teams are going the same direction on the field. Tough shot, good for Dontavius King. Both teams will be on the same sideline.
Yeah.
But they'll be going in different directions. That's a good thing. Should be a nice day, a little chilly at Wrigley. Bohannon looking for space, and he got blocked. Miller did a nice job on Bohannon. Miller now with a runner. Yes. Andy Miller coming into the deficit. Down to an 8-point lead for Iowa.
One of the best sequences of Miller's career. They're doing a phenomenal job on Bohannon, guarding his yard, staying on the ground, and then taking it to the other end for the easy basket.
Murray spinning with the left hand. No, he'll go to the line and shoot a couple. You mentioned that last sequence by Randy Miller. Here it is in its entirety.
Yeah, that's not Jordan Bohannon's game. He's on scholarship to assist and hit threes, not put it on the floor like that. But Miller stays disciplined, pushes the rock, and floats it up over the rim. He's going to have a big second half if NC Central can pull the upset, but he's pretty battle tested. He's been in games like this before.
Miller, the senior transfer from Indiana State, second team Omiak entering play this year. A couple of free throws for Keegan Murray. Got a dozen. Patrick McCaffrey leading all scorers with 13 for Iowa. Season high 13 for McCaffrey. Coming up on the 4-minute mark here in this first half. Miller for three, drained it. Randy Miller having a good first half.
Well, it was great defense by Iowa to take away that high horn set, but sometimes great offensive players just blow it up, and that's a good sign for NC State. Him knocking in the runner and also knocking in the three-point shot.
Strong offensive rebound, kicking out to Patrick McCaffrey. Short followed his own shot.
There it is.
Bohannon. Just a little short, looked good out of the hands of Jordan Bohannon. Had a good look at it. One away from the all-time record. Three-pointers made in the Big Ten Conference. Miller again hoists another three. Second opportunity for NC Central. Inside look. Keeping possession and keeping it alive. King no. Into the hands of Bohannon. Here come the Hawkeyes. Toussaint on the drive, a little Euro stepping his way in. Murray with the foul. 14 for Keegan Murray.
Well, that's just a huge mistake by King for NC Central. Doesn't work out for him on the offensive end. He has to sprint back and protect the rim, just walked back. Those are buckets you cannot afford to give up in a game this big when your team's playing that well, Jeff.
2 boards short of a double-double in the first half for Keegan Murray. Into the corner, Maltzby knocked down the three. 10 for Maltzby.
It's amazing how dribble penetration and getting into the rim opens everything up later in the half for your shooters, Jeff.
Finally starting to hit some threes. They were cold at the start. That's when all the lanes were wide open for NC Central. A tap away, breakaway opportunity for the Eagles. There's Maltzby with a dunk. 4-point game, timeout, Iowa and NC Central on the move. He's made in Big Ten Conference history. He's one away from being all by himself on that list. But right now, NC Central Made 7 of their last 9 from the floor to cut this deficit down to just 4 points, Jess. Starting to knock down some threes. Perkins driving. Murray trying to tap it back out and does. Now Perkins for 3. And a good second opportunity kept alive by Murray to get his Hawkeyes back on the board.
Yeah, just amazing when your star player plays so hard, keeps balls alive, keeps the possession alive, and leads to open shots. Keegan Murray playing as hard as anybody on the court and does it at both ends of the court.
He's got a double-double in the first half. 14 points, 10 rebounds for Keegan Murray. Perkins knocking down some threes. He's got 9 in the first half. They go inside. Nearly a block from Perkins. Monroe able to bang it in. Raleigh, North Carolina native, transfer from Providence.
Yeah, look for them to keep coming back to that. That was a great seal. Puts it right off the glass, but he's a physical guard.
Bohannon. In and out for Bohannon. Couple of near makes for Bohannon here in this first half. He's 1 for 6 from beyond the arc.
See if they take it back to Monroe on the block and let him go to work and at least try to pick up a foul.
And clock bleed. 7 to shoot. Monroe driving, lays it up and in over Murray. Shot clock is off. Plenty of time to get a good shot for Iowa. Ulis got to go up with it. Aaron Ulis got the roll at the horn to make it a 5-point lead. The Hawkeyes at NC Central.
Free throws at a high percentage.
Season high 13 for Patrick McCaffrey. He's got a chance to get his career high. That was 19 last year against Nebraska in March. Both McCaffrey and Murray off to good starts in this one. More than anything, Jess, I think the key for Iowa moving forward, clean up their defense in the lane. Too many easy buckets for NC Central in that first half.
I mean, there are only so many defenses you can throw at a team. There's only so much a coach can do. Eventually, you have to stay in front of the basketball and guard your guy.
Already going to get a reach in there on Toussaint, trying to poke that one away from Eric Boone. Toussaint picks up his first. Save for one big stretch from Iowa where they went on a 15-0 run in that first half. NC Central is hung right with the big boys from Big Ten.
If you're struggling to guard man-to-man, you slap a zone on. If you're the Eagles, you want to get this ball to the high post, work it inside out, or just take shots like that.
Deep 3, no good for Randy Miller. He had a good first half. Miller had 9 first half points. Maltsby had a dozen with 4 rebounds. Murray from the elbow. And now NC Central on the move. 4-on-2. Maltsby bleeds it in. Blocked by Murray. And then they turn it right back over.
Coach McCaffrey saying, why? Why would you throw a quarterback deep pass when you can just bring it up and get a higher percentage shot? And that's what he has to get out of his game, Jeff.
4 turnovers for Iowa. They're averaging 8 a game in the first 2. Up and under Randy Miller Jr.
It's just been the aggressive dribble penetration of NC Central that's kept them in this game.
Murray's going to go to the line as Cameron Butler picks up the personal.
Patrick gets beat baseline expecting a little bit of help, and that's a tough shot. That's been the story. 32 paints in the point for Coach Moten. Been able to control their turnovers. He couldn't ask for a better opportunity to be down 3, 18-27 to go at Iowa on the road. New team, right where they need to be.
This is where Iowa, basically, they're leading the game because of their free throw shooting. They've missed just 1 free throw in the game. Poetry and Moten. He got that as a player at NC Central. They were part of the CIAA. And one of the great things that he told us earlier today in our conversation, just the fact that when his playing career was over, he had an opportunity to go coach at a college program, turned down $85,000 in his first year as an assistant coach. And he took a middle school coaching job that paid him $675 total for the entirety of his 3-month coaching season. He said, nope, goodbye to $85K. I have a higher purpose. I need to learn more, and learn he did. $675 to be a middle school basketball coach, and look at him now.
He's just so dedicated to his community and mentoring so many of these young men that need a father figure. And that's what he's dedicated his life to. So, yeah, he's the only guy in the history of the game to turn down $85,000 and make $600. But Iowa fans will like to hear that George Raveling is one of his mentors. That's who's poured into him a lot over his life. And boy, the community has responded. I don't think he wanted to catch the pass right there.
No, he did not. He has had a park dedicated to his name. There's the park. Lavelle Moton Park in Raleigh, right next to the neighborhood that he grew up in. And that's a beautiful mural, renderings of the mural that's being painted as we speak in downtown Raleigh. A chance to go to the line for Philip Rebraca. Back to the floor here in Iowa. And again for Moton. He didn't want the mural to be just about him. And yeah, he's front and center and holding the trophies. Coach of the Year a couple of different times in the MEAC, but he didn't want it to be about him. He wanted it to be about the community, and that's exactly what that mural is going to be about.
Yeah, he was kind of embarrassed talking about it, right? But yeah, he's made such a huge impact. He deserves it. And I don't know if there's a coach in the country that's more connected to NBA players and former NBA players. And I'll tell you what, his text list has to be priceless, right? I mean, the guys he talks to every day.
So Durant texts him 2 or 3 times a week. And plus, teams wearing the Durant shoes.
Right.
Great influence. Great program. 5-point lead for Iowa. McCaffrey inside the painted area. Rebraca offensive rebound. Back out, Keegan Murray. Now falling for the Hawkeyes from beyond the arc. They are 4 for 20 from 3. Came in shooting 39% as a team in the first 2 games. Monroe for 3. And Murray corrals another rebound. Murray's got 14. Toussaint got away with a push, couldn't hit the shot.
This is exactly the type of test Iowa needs early in this season. I mean, there's no need to play 30-point blowouts. They need to have a close game late. A lot of these guys have not been in these situations. Play under a little bit of pressure, and you find out a lot about your team. So Coach McCaffrey not sweating this at all. A 3-point game with 13 minutes to go is what this team needs. You
see the points in the paint discrepancy right there. 38 points in the paint for NC Central. McCaffrey too strong. Keegan Murray, couple of rebounds. Bodies on the ground. NC Central grappling away another possession. Randy Miller having a nice night tonight. 15 to lead NC Central. Maltsby for 3. And a whistle over the back. Goes Dontavius King. Randy Miller with a little Euro step in the paint.
How good has he been in this game? I mean, that is a difficult shot. And this is one of those calls where the officials will let that go. It's the right call, a beautiful move. This is what all the young guys are doing growing up with this new Euro step. And it looks like a travel, Jeff, but it's not.
No. It's part of the game these days. They're trying to take away the James Harden couple of steps to create your own shot. 2 steps backwards. Murray for 3 again. Offensive rebound, Perkins. And now Ulis steps back. Strong rebound by Maltby.
And that's one that Ulis has to take the three as well, Jeff. Just not quite confident. Took an open shot, turned it into a high degree of difficulty shot, and just couldn't hit it.
Chance to tie this one for NC Central with a triple. Ten to shoot. There's the three. Rebraca knocked it out of bounds. Rebraca only played a handful of minutes in that first half because of foul trouble. Fresh possession for NC Central, fresh 20.
See if they can get the ball to that free throw line area. Get this zone spinning a little bit, and collapse the defense and kick it out for an open shot. Beautiful.
The open look. Alex Caldwell, the senior. Tie game, 57-57, a 7-0 run.
Well, if you can't get the ball to the high post with the pass, get it there with dribble penetration. Same result. Iowa struggling defensively. A real battle. Try to break down the zone defense. The Eagle.
You want a knapsack full of goodies. Go Hawkeyes. That fan will never forget that. That putt had no reason going left to right. His first putt went right to left. Second one he pushed away right.
Shouldn't you win a little bit more than that for that kind of...
We don't know what's in there.
I mean...
We don't know what's in that knapsack.
Think there's an iPad in there or something?
Maybe.
I'm thinking maybe a car for a shot like that.
A couple of Carver cones. 2-point lead for Iowa. Some handed on the bench. 1-3 away to have the all-time three-point record in the Big Ten Conference. Caldwell on the sideline. Another turnover. The 10th for NC Central. Well, weekdays, Dave Revson leads an in-depth discussion about everything happening in the Big Ten and talks to some of the conference's biggest names. Big Ten Today, weekdays at noon Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Perkins short. Caldwell. Good transition D by the Hawkeyes.
Well, so Iowa is scorching hot from the free throw line. They're already in the bonus. They're settling for jump shots. They've got to take the fight to NC Central, try to get to the free throw line. That's been their best weapon in this game, Jeff.
Not too many jumpers have fallen. Offensive rebound by Monroe. He's going to go to the line. Got pushed by Connor McCaffrey. It's all layups, essentially, for NC Central. They have made 4 threes in the game. Only been to the line 7 times prior to Monroe's trip right now to the charity stripe.
And I'm surprised that the Eagles have been able to get away with sending this many players to the offensive glass. It's been effective. Iowa usually punishes teams who do that by ripping and running and getting out and getting easy points on the fast break. They have not been able to do that tonight, so give credit to Coach Moten for taking that gamble, and it's got him in a position to win this game with 10 minutes to go.
Monroe 1 out of 2, 1-point lead for the Hawkeyes. Tavius King has already fouled out of this game. Butler, who's on the floor, has 4 fouls. Rebraca going right out.
Great decision by Connor McCaffrey. We know all about his assist-to-turnover ratio over the years, but he knew that they had to get some points in the paint. Good steal by Rebraca. He used a stiff arm. Connor throws the ball where only he can get it. Little pump fake and power, and that's the veteran leadership of Connor McCaffrey. All the things he does don't usually show up on a stat sheet, but he just has that sixth sense to be able to get the ball to players like Tyler Cook, like Luka Garza over the years, not only where they need it, but when they need it.
Maltby driving. Butler almost to the putback. Nice defense by Murray, and a turnover there. Pass too hot from Ulis. Turnover number 6 for the Hawkeyes. Fran McCaffery.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah, so what happened on the last possession? We went inside, got an easy basket. At least we can pick up the foul. No need to throw that one into the seats. Just a learning experience for a young player who hasn't been able to show his stuff and learn that much.
.15 on the shot clock for NC Central. Officials looking for somebody to inbound the basketball. Caldwell finally runs over there. Plenty of time on the shot clock to get a reset. Down by 3. Feeds Monroe short. Yeah, good look. Up ahead, Perkins. Good patience from Perkins. Timeout by NC Central. Moten just trying to calm things down with the Eagles. And Perkins with a nice drive and a little bob and weave. Of course, tied for the all-time consecutive free throws made a couple of years ago. And he's one three-pointer away from having the Big Ten record for three-pointers made. All to himself. Miller ran into a wall and out of bounds as he threw that one towards the corner. Skipped on the end line. Turnover number 11 for NC Central.
Yeah, interesting lineup here for Fran McCaffery and the Hawkeyes, going with his best defensive lineup. I mean, Connor McCaffery, an elite defender, Ulis, an outstanding defender, Keegan Murray, Perkins, and the Rebraca. So he's telling his guys, we got to get it done at the defensive end. We got to get stops.
Santi Price reaching in on Connor McCaffery, trying to force a turnover. Instead picks up his second foul. It's a 23rd foul NC Central has committed in the game. Free throws for Iowa the rest of the way. They've been in the bonus, it feels like, since the second half began.
Well, Connor McCaffery has had his fingerprints on this mini run for Iowa. He had the beautiful pass inside to Rebraca. He forced the turnover at the other end, which led to the fast break for Perkins. And now he goes to the free throw line and is usually automatic at the stripe. And so, yes, he's not starting this year, and he's given that up to be unselfish for his teammates. But he's won a lot of games being in the game late because of his extremely high basketball IQ.
A guy who's played all 5 positions over the course of his career, and all at a very high level. Turnover, Perkins to Keegan Murray. .80 run sparked by the defense of the Hawkeyes. This is when NC Central got a little sloppy in the first half. It was a turnover run. Going through that run right now.
Not only an incredible steal, but the wherewithal to get your head up and unselfishly split the defense and get the ball to Keegan Murray. But you talk about an interesting chess match. I mean, Fran McCaffery going with the defensive unit to expand this lead, and it's paid huge dividends.
Rebraca is going to go to the line. If that one's on Cameron Butler, that is his 5th. And it is on Butler. So 2 Eagles have fouled out now, Butler and King. Rebraca is going to go to the line for a couple of free throws. NC Central putting up a great fight, getting into the latter stages of this second half, and some size and some depth from Iowa starting to take charge.
Yeah, it's nice to see Rebraca step his game up, and obviously you can't replace Luka Garza, but if he can just give Iowa, at 10 points, 5 rebounds those nights, especially against these big front lines in the Big Ten, that's a bonus.
Nicholas Fennell on the other end, blocked. Chris Monroe sending that one into the front row.
We might have a dunk of the year candidate already in this. Wow. You catch it with one hand and
Keegan Murray puts one through to answer the monster dunk from Fennell. Monroe hoists a three and buried it. Monroe with 10. Right back come the Eagles. And we're going to whistle from the far side of the floor. 7-point lead for Iowa. Back and forth we go. Don't go anywhere. 7:40 to go in Iowa City.
Heels out around midcourt, and what a beautiful pass he threw to Keegan Murray. He's really been the spark over the last 3 or 4 minutes for this Iowa Hawkeye defense.
Ulis at the line, knocks down the first. Just 3 misses from the line. 27 of 30 from the free throw line for Iowa. Think about where they'd be without knocking down so many free throws in this game.
That's a trend that's going to have to continue, and most nights they will shoot the three-point shot better. Most teams that can shoot 80-90% from the line can shoot the three very well also, but Jordan Bohannon's rimmed quite a few. He's usually not going to shoot at this poorly. I think he's feeling the pressure a little bit from this record, Jeff.
Yeah, 4 for 22 from 3. A weak side block by Keegan Murray. Filling up the stat sheet tonight, Jess.
Man. A triple-double threat almost every time out, and this is why people at the next level are so high on him. He's just able to guard 4 positions. He's going to be able to guard the 5 spot in college. Can rebound, run the floor, play above the rim, and knock in a three-point shot.
24 points, 17 rebounds for Keegan Murray. Whistle on the floor. Here's a weak side block.
Just an excellent drive. You think he got an easy layup and get that shot out of here.
Murray had an outstanding freshman season. And think about just the development season he had last year. He had quality minutes in game time, but think about the practice time banging against Luka Garza, Jack Nunji, and Creener.
Learned so many moves from Luka Garza, little hook shots and step throughs. And I remember when I was a freshman learning from James Winters and growing up watching Chris Street and Wade Looking Bill. Just all these pump fakes and powers and all these crafty little moves. He's definitely picked that up. And his dad, Kenyon, an excellent coach himself, has taught Keegan and Chris how to play the game the right way. And they were late developers, so they developed guard skills at a young age and hit those growth spurts, and now they can do it all.
Perkins nearly came away with another steal there. Instead, they got him for the personal. First for Perkins. And it's been this lineup for Fran McCaffery that has really solidified things defensively.
There are some nights as a coach you just push the right buttons, right? It doesn't always go your way, but this is one of those times where the game completely changed with a lineup that's built for the defensive end of the court.
Going to the rack, and Boone rejected by the rim. Up ahead, Keegan Murray. Another slam. 26 for Murray, a new career high.
Well, that's really been the story through the first 3 games. Keegan Murray, just a star is born in Iowa City. I mean, he's just been stuffing the stat sheet all season long.
Now a chance for a three-point play for Nicholas Fennell. Get the block and the run out from the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, do you take the defense, you turn it into offense. A 2-fister by Keegan Murray.
At this point for Keegan Murray, he's going to establish a career high for points in every single game he plays. He went 24 in game 1, 25 in game 2, and now he's got 26 tonight with 6 and 12 to go.
And 17 rebounds isn't bad either, huh? Incredible.
Get one more on that last board. 18, 26 and 18. And perfect from the free throw line, 8 of 8. Murray. Now inside. Rebrache is going to go to the line and shoot 2 more.
Up.
Keegan Murray asserting his will on the defensive end too, Jess.
Yeah, this is what makes him so special. He does all the dirty work at the defensive end, and that's really where he makes his biggest impact, and he's guarded point guards tonight, 2 guards. He's protected the rim, uses his length and his size. He rips and runs, takes the ball coast to coast. I played with his dad, Kenyon, a great teammate of mine. Just love him. And Kenyon and I had a great battle in Carver Hawkeye one night against Grant Hill and Duke. And you know, you don't want to look too far ahead, but when I see Keegan play, he looks to me a lot like Grant Hill when he was younger. And Grant Hill was a role player with Hurley and Leitner on those championship teams, and then when it was his time to shine, he stepped up. And I think Keegan Murray is going to be a star at the next level, and he has no weaknesses, and we've seen everything from him tonight.
Stay with NC Central. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Yildiz trying to contend that it was tipped by the Eagles. Driving. And another block by Murray.
Unreal.
Open over Nicholas Fennell. It was almost off the roof at Carver Hawkeye to get over the top of Murray. We got a foul on Caldwell. That's his 4th. NC Central doing the best they can to try and hang with Iowa. Great defensive stretch here from Iowa to kind of separate themselves a bit here, Jess.
It really has been. I mean, things got tight. Not to overstate it, but Brandon McCaffrey decided at the timeout that he's going to go with his best defensive lineup. He said, fellas, we have to get stops. And at the offensive end, we have to aggressively attack the rim, whether that's posting up or driving the ball. We can't be taking outside shots. And this game entirely flipped on that. They're getting to the free throw line, and they're locking down NC Central at the other end.
See the huge discrepancy in the free throws too. 32 makes to 6. Maltzby driving. See those easy drives that they had in the first half just haven't been there in the second half. Put the clamps down on the paint. McCaffrey to a driving Perkins.
That's a great point, Jeff. I mean, they're guarding the ball better, staying in front of dribble penetration. And when Keegan Murray starts blocking all those shots, then you get a little gunshot. You go in there thinking he's going to come and swat your shot into the front row.
Monroe got Murray in the air, and Murray reaches in and picks up the foul, just his 2nd. A reach and a step. Can't call 2 fouls on one play, can you? Stripped away again. Perkins, another steal. Perkins smartly pulls it back out.
Yeah, well, what great maturity right there. Look at that by Perkins, right? That's what Coach McCaffrey wants out of him. Great defensive stop. Slow it down, work the clock. Great decision.
The whole bench stood up and applauded the effort from Perkins. There have been so many times where they get up in front of themselves a little bit. Growing pains here for the Hawkeyes. Starting to pull away a little bit.
Not many can do that.
Played all but 2 minutes of this game. And Murray at the line. 9 of 9 now from the free throw stripe. Keeps adding on to that career high. Established it with his 26th point. Sitting on that Bohannon news as Murray misses for the first time tonight from the free throw line. Bohannon 1 3-pointer short of having the 3-point record in the Big Ten all by himself. He's been sitting on the bench for the majority of the second half. Keegan Murray's taken over. Monroe steps in. Rattled in and out. Rebound by Murray again. His 19th. He's going to go for 20-20 tonight if he gets one more rebound.
Incredible. I mean, how many guys in Iowa history have done that? I'm assuming Luka Garza's done it. He's on pace for 30 and 20. Incredible.
Coming up, Dave Rebson, Andy Katz, and Rayfield Davis recap all the hoops action around the conference. Plus, Howard Griffith weighs in on the latest college football playoff rankings. Big Show presented by Marathon coming up next on the Big Ten Network. 14-point lead for Iowa. 3:12 and change from Iowa City. A battle all night. NC Central trying to drive in. Again, those lanes have been clogged up in the second half, Jess.
Yeah, Keegan Murray is just sensational. A last-second switch. Again, looks like an easy basket, and he switches over and alters the shot. And as many blocks as he had, he's altered so many more.
4 blocks officially on the night for Murray. Ulis fires away for 3, and Aaron Ulis in double figures with 10. Stat line might not show it, but Connor McCaffrey's effect on this game cannot be quantified.
Right. And I asked Coach McCaffrey about that early in the season. I said, how are you not going to start Connor? I mean, he just brings so much to it. And he said, well, just because you don't start the game doesn't mean you're not going to be out there for crunch time. And right, that was well said. I mean, he's got to be on the court when these games get tight. And his fingerprints all over this one, especially in the second half.
That last rebound for Keegan Murray put him over 20. He's got 27 points and 20 boards. What a night for Keegan Murray, the sophomore. Inside look, Ulis drives, foul, and a chance to go to the line. For Keegan Murray, the 20 rebounds tonight, the most by an Iowa player under Fran McCaffrey. So doing something Luka Garza never did either, Jess. 20 rebound night.
Yeah, Jared Utoff wasn't able to pull that down. Luka Garza had 18 rebounds twice, but this is a special night for a special player. This is an incredible story. I talked to Keegan a few weeks ago in the training room, and coming out of high school, Jeff, he had one offer at a mid-major, and so his folks said, we're going to go to prep school, and they went down to Daytona Beach, Florida, right by the racetrack, and he ended up playing a lot against college-level players and high-level prep teams, and so he was physically ready to go, but it's just you can't believe that he's made this type of progress from being a guy who wasn't recruited by anybody to now being one of the best players of the country a few years later.
Definitely a top 20 player in the conference.
I mean, Andy's going to have to deal with that the entire season.
Yeah, he is. And he's in the studio tonight, and we're just giving him a bad time.
Yeah.
Big show coming up with Andy. He's going to be defending himself all night. Jess Settles ever have a 20 rebound game? Look at that. McCaffrey lost his shoe. Ulis up and under. Perkins no. McCaffrey trying to put the shoe back on. And a foul. A hard drive. The all-time Iowa record is 30 rebounds. Back in 1952, Charles Darling, 30 rebounds in one game. Come on. That's a month for some players.
Was he, do we have any tape on that? Was he doing the Moses Malone tip drill to himself? I mean, that's right. I'm not sure that.
Now, Keegan Murray's going to check out of this one. Get the rest of the night off. 27 points, 21 rebounds. The most rebounds in a game in the Fran McCaffrey era at Iowa. That's a night for Keegan. Austin Ash checks in for the first time tonight. Under a minute to play on what is a record-setting night for the Hawkeyes and Keegan Murray. Sanford inside look. Bracha now driving in. Turns it over. A good ball game for the better part of the night. North Carolina Central stayed within this one. It got tied. Got the 8-minute mark. That's when Iowa took over. Keegan Murray and Tony Perkins on the defensive end. Outstanding tonight for the Hawkeyes.
You know, it'll be interesting to see what Ray Fell says about Tony Perkins. I think he has a little bit of Ray Fell in him. You know, just a gutsy, tough, defensive-minded player who's going to continue to get better at the offensive end. But you're right, this was his best night as a Hawkeye, and Eula stepped up as well. And
a really nice test for Iowa, too. They're battle-tested for the first 29 minutes of this ball game, and Iowa comes up with an 86-69 victory.
Great job at the defensive end in the